you don't feel like you reach rock bottom, but you kind of know that you're like, man, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep waking up feeling like this every day. There's got to be something out there. This is just killing me. It just pisses you off. Yeah, obviously you have a lot of emotions that come with that because you don't feel like a man anymore. And you're like, man, I don't like this at all. This has to change. Maybe then you start blaming other things because you're like, well,
Oh, yeah.
maybe it's my girlfriend, maybe it's my
Yep.
work. It can't be
Oh,
me because
yeah.
I used to
Oh,
kick
yeah.
ass every day at this. And you're like,
Yeah.
can't be me anymore, can it? Am I the problem? No, I can't be the problem.
Welcome to the Deeper Healing Podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Howley. This is for everyone who's been dismissed, misdiagnosed, or told to just live with it and refuse to accept that answer. You're going to hear amazing patient recovery stories, raw and real in their own words. People who found answers after everything had failed them. You're going to hear from medical experts we trust that are pioneering new approaches to healing the body because we deeply know we're designed to heal. Let's dig in. Hi, everybody. Really excited to introduce everyone to Stark. Stark it's just a cool name. Just love that. Stark is a cool guy too. I think he worked for the governor. Is that right? Did I
Yes,
get that
ma'am.
right?
Yeah, I work for some
We're,
people.
yeah, he's got a high profile job and I would like to say you're a high performer and you're in your prime. And so he's had some issues. Thank you for being willing to share them and a great recovery story. So we wanted to share this with you. And this is for all the men out there who are not getting help. Okay. We want you listening to this one. Okay. All right. So tell me how this began and what you tried that didn't work and how you finally came to find deeper healing.
That's a long answer and long road in
And we,
itself.
we can break
But
that up.
it started about been self-employed basically my whole life as a consultant in logistics and things like that. So private aviation, maritime industry, trucking as well, moving things in any planes, trains, automobiles, that kind of stuff. And after the pandemic, I just started experiencing a ton of brain fog. I just couldn't seem to reach to go back to my potential that I had previously. So you get a bout of depression, anxiety, because you feel like maybe you're not good enough anymore. What happened? What did I do wrong? You start beating yourself up, and it just becomes one big negative feedback loop and negative thought loop. And you just sort of live in that headspace for a long time. It's not a fun place to live either. It's a dark place. You tried everything from supplements, probably spent ten to $20,000 on all sorts of supplements, everything from you know, any sort of junk we see on Instagram or TikTok or any of that kind of stuff, you just like, oh, I've got that. That should work. Perfect. Let's order the $40 fix. Let's try
Correct.
that, because
Everybody does it.
you become that desperate to feel better.
I know.
You try anything.
Somebody on TikTok said it worked.
That's right.
It's like,
Yeah.
why
A
not?
bunch of people in China couldn't be wrong. Right.
Right. Exactly.
And then, I tried, it went down a little bit of a spiritual hole there for a bit and tried a couple of the kind of different outlets that, not ayahuasca, but I did combo because it was supposed to help clear some of the bad stuff out of your system. And a lot of people that I knew that were doing it, it was really helping them with cancer. And so I was like, you know what? If it's going to help that, it ought to be able to help brain fog. It did. It was a temporary thing, like a lot of treatments. You got to keep doing it, which is understandable. That's just how the world works. You got to maintain. And it was still an uphill battle, and it went on for 5 years. And I reached out to you guys in July, and I'm on the road about 150 days a year. So I had reached out to you guys in July, had our initial consultation and conversation about how I felt, and I disappeared for another 6 months, like I always do. Have to go to somewhere and just can't talk to anybody, and finally reemerged. You guys had sent an email about Exomind, and it just happened to be one of those quirk moments. Actually looked at my emails and looked thoroughly, and I clicked on it and I was like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe it's time to sort of reach back out. Let's,
Let's
and
get
the way
going.
Exomind was described felt like it was a lot of the symptoms that I was going through on a regular basis. So I had to jump on the opportunity to become a part of the family.
Yeah, well, with what I love about Exomind is it works very quickly, and like you said, a lot of people want a quick fix and it is hard. It's hard to especially when you're in a big high performing job and you're traveling a lot like you are, you're like, okay, now I got to deal with my health. And I do see a lot of guys out there, they're like, I'm going to punt that till later, and they end up dragging themselves in here when they're broken or when their wife's girlfriend is like, I've had enough. Like you need to do something and they'll, get them in here. So I love that you were taking the initiative on your own. So you felt like you said to me, you felt like it was affecting you personally and professionally. Like you're like, this is hitting every button in my life.
Across the board, it was, my relationship with my girlfriend, with my mother. Nothing about being on the road, having some sort of mental, whatever it could be, instability or whatever could be affecting up here is certainly going to be exacerbated by never being home,
Right.
sleeping in a different hotel every 2 or 3 nights, all around the country, different time zones. It is not a healthy way to be. So I was finally just came home one day and my girlfriend looked at me and she goes, "You got to do something about this." And I said what every man said. Nah, that's not what we do. We just take and you bury it down. I don't want to. No, don't talk about it. It just goes down here and that's how we live. That's what we're supposed to do as men.
I see it all the time. And I love that you're talking about that. Another guy on the podcast here named Chip, he did a really great job also. Same thing, like same exact story. Like I was just like, what am I even doing with my life? And he's like, I should be in my prime. And I am like on the struggle bus and encouraging other men, like there's a lot that can be done. So let's hear how you are right now. You come in July, you let a gap come, then you're like, wait, I got to do this brain treatment. I'm coming in for Exomind. So what I love is, and you probably did blood panels too. You were probably looking into like what's going on. I got to say that out loud. A lot of people, just by even fixing their deficiencies, the doctors here always say people take a lot of crap supplements, but they also take supplements they don't need and they take them for too long. They never know, like, was that helping me? I don't know. He always says supplement you need is the one that you're deficient in, and you need it to get till you're at a nice level and then you don't need to keep doing it.
It's a
That's
tough
the
metric to
idea.
follow. Like you said,
Yeah.
you've got a medicine cabinet full of 80 different things and you're like, well, is that helping? I don't know.
I don't
Why would
know.
I go do blood work and find out what the core problem is? This is America. Just give me something and let's go.
Yeah.
Let's keep
Yeah.
rolling.
Give me the magic pill.
Yeah.
Okay, so in some ways, Exomind, don't want to say it is a magic pill, but the nice thing about it is a lot of things that I've seen, they're like, especially when my husband was sick and we were doing the supplement diet route, doctors would say things like, well, you might feel better in 18 months, and here we are spending a lot of money. It's like 2 years in and he's worse than ever. And you start really losing hope. What I like about Exomind, so let's talk about the treatments themselves. They're 24 minutes. You're passive. You're literally laying on a very comfortable chair in a very comfortable room. And can do them every, like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. People who travel to deeper healing do them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 weeks in a row. And that is a full 6 course. So I don't know, how did you do it? Because you live here. Did you do them kind of close together or?
I came in initially, did the blood work first and foremost, and that
Okay.
same day we did my first session, knocked
Okay.
out another 4 sessions pretty quickly, and I, again,
Okay.
traveling, so I fell off the wagon, so to speak, briefly. And then Hannah was blowing me up saying, "Hey, you got another one in the pocket. You better come use it." So
I
just
love
got
that.
back in, I think just last week to finish my sixth and
Okay.
final session. And man, I tell you what, it was after the first or the second or third session and I could already tell that my reaction to things was completely changed. And you and I had discussed that previously. Was, of course, you're going to be not happy about traffic or sitting in traffic, but as opposed to having knee-jerk reactions like you used to being like, oh, this guy just cut me off, I'm gonna let him know just how I feel today because today ain't the day to mess with me.
Yeah.
Now it's just sort of like whatever,
Yeah.
whatever,
So
that's fine.
you're like, you feel like you've had an entire mental shift. Like
Absolutely. 100%. And my
you're,
girlfriend's noticed. Anybody who I talk to from work colleagues on a regular basis have been like, I think you and I discussed that also. And my CEO of our company was like, "You good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing really good, actually." He's like, "All right, just wanted to check on you." He's like, "A little different today, aren't you?" I was
oh,
like, "Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
noticed like you're like performing at a higher level, your
yes."
mind. Well, that's what I love about Exomind too, is it's rerouting your brain. So if your brain is kind of like, I don't know, I'll call it gray. it's literally rerouting that prefrontal cortex. So it's like it's affecting you in a lot of ways. Not just you may have come in with depression or you might have just been like brain fogged or whatever, but actually it's really good for people who are high performers who really want their brain at a high level. And I always say like you just think about the health of your brain. We don't think about that a lot. It's funny, like I always say like modern medicine treats everything like it's a box of gears. Like here's your eye, here's your ear, here's your skin, here's your brain, here's your heart. But that's not actually how things work. They actually are all working together. So when someone has a lot of inflammation, the brain's inflamed too, so your reactions, people are like, I feel like I have all this anger or I'm not reacting normally. And then when it starts reversing, the people around them are the first ones to be like, whoa, okay, that's amazing. You did not have a hot-headed moment or I think you told me a great story, which you had a car accident.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just recently had a car accident. My mother's got early dementia, so she's not allowed to drive, and I was getting her groceries and her lunch and everything, and it's trying to pull out into Folly Road traffic, which is always a disaster, and gotten a minor fender bender, but instead of being like, "You don't know how to drive, you're the problem," I literally hopped out and was like, "Are you good?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I was like, "All right, well, let's get out of the road so we can get on with our lives and
That's
let's do this."
amazing. That's
So it's
amazing.
definitely been, like I said, a lot of the knee jerk reaction. The brain fog has definitely lifted a bunch. And that was one of the biggest things was trying to go through a day to day routine, which before the pandemic ran a helicopter company, used to deliver boats, used to work with private airplane companies and booking charters and things like that, and was always on top of it. And then to have all that sort of stripped from you and being able to not function at that level, it's a big form of depression and anxiety. You're like, I wonder if I'll ever get back there. Like,
I
is
know.
this it? Like, is this what I got to do now?
I know. And there's so many people. I have talked to so many people. They're like, yeah, I mean, my doctor was like, this is just getting older. And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, I hate when they do that. That is
yeah.
just ridiculous.
The
I mean,
general pool of, yeah, you're just getting
yeah,
older. Best of
yeah,
luck to you,
you're like
buddy.
40. It's like, I'm not out to pasture
Yeah,
yet. What the heck?
yeah.
I know. And so many people, even my own grandmothers, they aged really well. Their minds were really sharp, you know? I don't see that as much anymore. I see a lot of memory care, people all in memory care, people all like at 50, like even my age, 50, like I can't think of the word and you're like a hamburger, like, they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, yeah,
Just
hamburger,
draw it out.
like it's like simple words, not even, not SAT words.
Yeah.
And I just think we've gotten accustomed to a slow slump.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And it's just not, we don't have to accept that. And I do think it is related to high toxin levels. And that's why a lot of people don't know how to address it. I say it all the time. I'd pay $1 million to go into one of these memory care facilities and test the toxin levels of people
I'm
and
sure.
just see like, where are they? Where are their metals? Where are their chemical levels? And how much could they get back in quality of life by addressing it?
100%.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, you have an amazing story. Exomind is it's a really amazing technology. And we've been doing Brain Align in here for years, and we still do Brain Align for some people. It's a very different technology, but what's nice about Exomind is you can feel it. You can feel a change in 2 weeks. You can feel a change
100%.
in just a few short weeks, and you're like, and then it's almost like I always feel like when people are coming to deeper healing because everything's new, like rejuvenates, what is it? What is that? We do everything differently. We're all about oxygen and light and healing the body and doing things that are sustainable and long lasting. So when people come in, they're like, it's very new. So they're always a little skeptical until they have a win, right? They're like, oh, I slept the night last night. Oh my God, my brain fog is lifting. My energy's coming back. And all of a sudden it's like they're believing in the whole system and what we're doing. And then they're like, hey, what did you say about diet? What did you say about the air filtration? All of a sudden they're kind of interested in everything. And that's what's amazing about not only seeing your success, but being willing to share it, because everything at Deeper Healing has been word of mouth. Now, how did you find us to start with?
Literally had been researching, here's my issues, here's my long list of issues, and you start doing like everybody does. I'm on WebMD now. I'm a doctor apparently, and I know exactly what's wrong with me. I'll just get some vitamin D. That should clear it right up. Nope.
Right, right.
And did a lot of deep dives on some of the different brain techniques and things like that,
Right.
and finally stumbled upon you guys after kind of looking up some brain mapping clinics and things like that, and then you guys popped up when I was looking for some sort of like brain stimulation,
Oh,
something that was kind of going to reactivate parts of my brain. And that's when I initially reached out. And like I said, I mean, I've had such a great career. I can't even imagine people going through what I've gone through, because there are outlets, but it's so frustrating and you don't know where to start when you're in that dark hole. It's a hard hole to crawl out of. And I've worked with the SEALs. I used to build armored vehicles for the military. I've been in private aviation. I've done a lot of things, and I'm very proud of what I've done and who I've done it for. But at the end of the day, like, everybody needs to know that there are options out there for them. You just have to want to take that step, because I've never felt better now. This is a whole new outlook on life, coming back and being like, oh, my brain's starting to like process things the way it used to. And every day I get up and I'm not like, when you do this, and you're like, I don't know if today's going
oh,
to be a good day,
I know, I know. I want to mention something just because you mentioned your career. Some of the most toxic careers are the veterans, not just the mass vaccination, but also the exposures, the burn pits in the Middle East, just so many of the things that they're exposed to, just in part of not only just living on the bases, but
Oh
also,
yeah.
their deployments.
Hanging
And
out the
then
side of a helicopter and you got, exhaust fumes in your face and all sorts of good
literally,
stuff.
yeah, literally. And the other one is pilots. People don't think of pilots and flight attendants as being a high toxin load. There's a whole new big article right now about the radiation, but also lots of heavy metals are in the altitude that they're in. And so when someone's just flying, like I'm flying once in a while, they're not getting that regular, like, recycled air at that high altitude. There's a lot going on in there, not to mention the germicides and the chemicals that are being used over and over and over again in a small confined environment. So there's a lot of what we see, a lot of guys in here that are veterans, firefighters, you know, pilots who do the Rejuvenace detox and feel really, really different just from that,
Yeah.
just from getting the toxin levels down.
And that's on my list. I haven't done that yet, but that's next on my list. And I'm
That's a
coming back
game
for Brain
changer.
Align too. So I'm
Yes,
coming
you
back
need
for everything.
Rejuvenace. It's funny that what I like about your story is you didn't do both, even though I know most people do both at the same. A lot of people do both or at the same time because they're trying to, they're like, oh, I'm driving in, I'm going to do this, and then I'm
Yep.
going to do that. But it's nice to see. I got this full reaction just from doing Exomind. What Rejuvenace is amazing at is pulling down your toxin levels to make it be sustainable. We can fix your brain, but if you don't deal with the underlying inflammation, then you're missing a big part of the equation. In a year from now, you'll be like, oh, feeling kind of punky again. You know what I mean? We're looking for everything to last. We want it to last. And that's kind of the goal with everything that we're doing in here. It's, we don't want you stuck taking drugs or supplements forever. We want you to be your own amazing, healthy self. And we believe the body's perfectly designed to heal itself. That's kind of the,
After I saw that Exomind email come through, and it literally been like 6 months, and I saw it and I was like, nope, we gotta come in hot now. Let's do this. Like, this has got to be done. I can't do this anymore. I'm doing trucking and all these different logistics, and I was like, I gotta be on my game this year. Let's do this. And
let's
came in, just
go.
throw down the credit card. It was like, whatever you guys need to do, let's just
Just,
go. Let's go.
just do it. Just do it. I know. Think about all the things you saved by, by just getting it, where you need to be.
Absolutely.
Not to even mention, I mean, no one even talks about work performance. We had a guy in here. He was literally at the point. He's like, I'm not even able to write an email. My brain is just done. And he was like, I think I have to get out of my business. I'm hurting my business. And he turned it all around. He is like slaying it at work.
Yep.
So like, what's that worth? Like you can't even put a number on that.
I mean, trust
So,
me, I've been there before when I've been on site for something or, wherever they send me and you're like, "Man, today's just not my day. What's going on?" You're
oh,
like, "Something's
oh yeah,
kinda not clicking up here today." And
yeah,
now, you have bad days and good days, but I can tell you what, man, it's been a complete turnaround for me, and everyone that I comes into contact with me that I do on a regular basis, from clients, colleagues, my girlfriend, they've all noticed a difference, and it's been really nice just to feel that confidence come back, because when you get in that dark hole, you start really doubting yourself and your
oh my God.
abilities, and you're like, "Man, I was coordinating helicopters for a whole thing down in Florida. Like, what happened? Like, I had no problem doing that 6 years ago. What happened to me?" And
Yeah.
you know,
It's funny. People talk about the downward spiral all the time. And when you're in it, you're just like, oh man, I'm not good. But no one talks about the upward spiral. I see the upward spiral all the time.
yeah,
And I see people come in really nervous. And then I'm like, you're going to be fine. You just got to relax into it, especially the people that travel in. I usually by the Wednesday, they're here a couple days in a row. They're like, you see them relaxing into it and they're like, oh yeah, these guys got me. I'm in
yeah,
good hands. And you don't have to be your own case manager. I mean, that's what I say all the time. Even when I was doing it for Marty, I'm like, I'm not a freaking doctor. And I'm like trying to figure it out. What supplement? What do we need? Just like you were talking about, everybody does it. Everybody's got cabinets full of stuff that promises the world, doesn't deliver. And you just end up feeling like I don't even know where to turn.
yeah.
So that's the purpose. That is the purpose of this podcast. This podcast purpose is to literally let Stark and Sally and John and whoever else, when they have a story and they have a success, and this is because there's a million Starks out there.
Oh yeah.
That's what's crazy. There's a
I'm not the only
million
guy.
Starks out there.
I'm definitely not
Absolutely
the only
not.
guy going through this, trust me, and
No.
I can't even imagine, like I said, being you don't feel like you reach rock bottom, but you kinda know that you're like, "Man, this is I can't keep doing this. I can't keep waking up feeling like this every day. There's gotta be something out there. This is just killing me." It just pisses you off. Yeah, obviously, you have a lot of emotions that come with that because you don't feel like a man anymore, and you're like, "Man, I don't like this at all. This has to change." Maybe then you start blaming other things because 'cause you're like, "Well,
Oh yeah.
maybe it's my girlfriend, maybe it's my
Yep.
work. It can't be
Oh
me
yeah.
because I used to
Oh
kick
yeah.
ass every day at this." And you're like, "It
Yeah.
can't be me anymore, can it? Am I
I
the
know.
problem? No, I can't be the problem."
Well, you're amazing. Good job. Good on you. You got the benefit and you're actually helping people. So we are very grateful that you are willing to share your story.
Grateful for
Some
you guys.
guys,
Wouldn't be here
yeah.
without you,
Well, thank you.
and I'm gonna
Thank you.
keep coming back. I will continue to come
Get
back
your
and keep
butt in there and
preaching.
do the rejuvenates. It's
Hannah
amazing.
tells me that every time. She's like, "You gonna do that today?" I'm like, "Oh, I got appointments
It's
I gotta go to."
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I can assure you it's addictive. I mean, the oxygen alone, but the whole process itself. I've had numerous people who were like, I did not understand that Rejuvenace was the key to the door that I didn't know was closed. Because you're dealing with everything on a cellular level with Rejuvenace. So
And I
it's
will
really
be back to do that. Trust me.
okay.
I'm hooked for life. I will be
All
back
right.
whenever I need to come back. I'm just gonna call the front desk and make those girls laugh and be like, "I'm on the way. Like, just
They're the
buckle
best.
up."
They're the
Yeah.
best. Well, thank you very much,
Yes, ma'am.
Stark. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We hope this episode inspired you. Here's how to go deeper. Visit deeperhealing.com to become a patient. Online, we have loads of courses and a free toxin quiz. Subscribe and please, please share this episode with someone who needs it. It's always that one-on-one support that really gets people to find deeper healing. Remember, this is educational content, not medical advice. The information shared here should be discussed with your own personal healthcare provider. If you're excited by listening to the medical experts or the personal recovery stories on here and you want to start your own deeper healing journey, go to deeperhealing.com and start your process.